I think they only want these vultures to go. I don't know if they just want anyone to have a go. It just sounds...
Highest vulture?
It probably just sounds a bit of vulture sound. It's rather than an old crow. So, I'm going to get cremated.
After donating your organs to science?
Exactly. No, just to anyone who wants it. I think my organs are in relatively good nick, actually. Apart from my liver.
Good nick.
Good nick. Apart from my liver.
It's a hard one to get though, right? To get a good liver. Only for Where's going to be like a human? No,
any carrion eating bird, and there's eggs in there. I think they only want these vultures to go. I don't know if they just want anyone to have a go. It just sounds...
Highest vulture?
It probably just sounds a bit of vulture sound. It's rather than an old crow. So, I'm going to get cremated.
After donating your organs to science?
Exactly. No, just to anyone who wants it. I think my organs are in relatively good nick, actually. Apart from my liver.
Good nick.
Good nick. Apart from my liver.
It's a hard one to get though, right? To get a good liver?
Yeah, because quite, you know, they can do partial liver. It's because you need the whole thing before. I'm gonna go next to take
mountains. Easier for water and yeah. But yeah, all the big cities they have mountains around. Even like Kerman, which is in desert area, but that's near mountain. You know, there are some mountains. They make the city around that.
But such high mountains and then low, flat.
Yeah.
So you can see why it became a trade route, because it was easy. Amazing.
Yeah. So, about Zoroastrian, this belief, what was happening in this place. First of all, we were talking about Zoroaster the prophet, that 1100 BC, okay, he started to talk about you know this religion. We call him Zartusht, okay, Zoroaster in English, which is Zartusht in Farsi, and his followers that we call them Zartushti and like Zoroastrian, right? And so when Zartusht, he started to talk about just one god as Ahura Mazda, that was the name, Ahura, you know the car Mazda, right? So Mazda means great. Ahura Mazda, it's yeah, from the name of God. And they have one like holy book. It has different chapters. Okay, Avesta, that's the name of the book. That it has, for example, one chapter, one part about the next world. They believe in hell and like heaven, and they just like whatever they should do. What kind of there are just three main, let's say, mottos that they all will follow. It's thinking, acting, and talking well, okay, which is these three are like the main sentences, the main rules that they will follow, which is simple but very interesting when you think, like in a good way, talk in a good way, and act. These three are the most important things for, of course, like human. And they do praying 5 times a day. It's like for Muslims it's the same, and but not the same. I mean, style of praying. They're gonna, like, when they want to pray, they're gonna stand in front of. Normally it's fire. Okay, fire for them. It's like, for example, Mecca for Muslim people. It's not their god. Okay, it's just like the way that they stand and do their praying for Ahura Mazda, and every day. And or if there is no fire in there, it's like any source of light. These days, especially in the past, it was fire, the moon and the sun. But now even it can be, if they are like in a situation that they cannot have any access to these three and they want to pray, it can be even like a lamp, a source of light in their house. And they do the praying. They're gonna stand like this in front of the, for example, fire, and so they have fire temples, a place that we're going to visit after here. And for us, for example, for praying every day, every time that we do the praying, it's the same sentences that we repeat. But for Zoroastrian, no, it's different. Okay, and when kids, they turn to I guess 14. In a museum that we're going, we will take this age, I'm not sure. Anyway, 14 or 16, they can choose. Oh, 16, right. They can choose if they want to be Zoroastrian, if they want to follow their parents or not. They can stand here. And it's not like, some religions that when you're born in a like, for example, Islam, in a Muslim family, you will be Muslim. But for them, no, they can choose. And more about their ceremonies and things like that in a museum that we're going to visit in Fire Temple. You will see more. And about this place, about their let's say cemetery, was mentioning in Euclid a little bit, but what we should know is, because they respect 4 elements, okay? They believe the dead body is not clean anymore, without soul. So they were using, for example, for kings in necropolis, like near Persepolis, for kings, for example, they have these stone coffins with a stone lid on the top, so the body was inside. But for ordinary people, they had sky burial. Okay, in Iran, it's about 80 years. 80 years that they stopped sky burial. We don't have such a thing anymore. We still have Zoroastrian population in Yazd. Many of them, they live here. Many in Shiraz and Mashhad, especially, mainly these cities, and Tehran, and big cities, right? And but they stopped this, the government actually stopped this, because of course it was not a good idea to do the sky burial anymore. And so today they have their new cemetery. Here is the cemetery for Zoroastrian. When you are up there, you can have a view, you can look at a cemetery down here, and they use coffins. For example, for Muslims, we don't use coffins. It's just like a white, fabric that we use, which is good, saving more trees and wood. And Zoroastrian, they use coffins for burying, the body. So sky burial in the past was like not everywhere, all the mountains, okay? Some like special mountains, sometimes around Persepolis, it could be like a holy mountain that they were using. Or here, for example, on the top of these hills or mountains, and this kind of like tower style that you see, a building on the top, the round building. Up there, they were taking dead bodies up there, and in the middle there's a hole, okay? And all around this hole, not very deep, all around this hole was a place that they were putting dead bodies, okay? And then vultures could, you know, come and eat the flesh, yeah, the body. And the only thing that was remained was bones. That they were putting all these bones in these, you know, like holes, adding sulfur in order to make it powder so quick. And then that was it. So we have two cemetery, as you see here. And one more thing that you know, we should know, this was like the style in this area. Before I was mentioning about holes, like little holes, okay, exactly like this size, in like rocks, cliffs, on mountains, and especially around Persepolis, that was a place for bones. That was the style in that area, but this style was for this area, okay? All these buildings that you see here, how was the ceremony, how was the system, you know, working? In the past, just imagine, from the town, when they were taking dead bodies, members of family, when they were taking dead bodies here, so because the town was not very close to here, right? So they were walking here and they could stay overnight. They needed a place to stay, you know, after doing the ceremony and everything. It was not a good idea to head back to the town because of, you know, probably like, you know, for their security, right? So they could stay here in these houses that you see around, and here they had water, like water basin or reservoir. That you know, it's it could be very cool with this wind towers over there. That's the access. When you go on the other side, okay, for this building, you go on the other side, you will see stairs that it's going down, okay, to reach the water here, down here. And people, family, they could not go there. Okay, up there to, you know, do this, I don't know, to watch their bodies or take the bodies, things like that. Salars were in charge to carry dead bodies up there. These people, this was like their job, okay? That they were wearing all white. Did you see those two men at the entrance? They had like white clothes. What? They're not Salars, but like white clothes, like that custom. With a round, you know, white hat. This is the custom of Zoroastrian. Okay, Zoroastrian, they wear like that. You know, their clothes is like that in their ceremonies. For example, in Czech that I was telling you, when the ceremony is happening, that's in autumn. So they all gonna wear white, men and women, the same. So yeah, Salars were taking bodies up there, and they were in charge, you know, to do all these things, but not people. And Salars, about their life, they could not go back to the city. They were living in this area too, because they might get like diseases or, you know, problem from you know, about this from this job. And it was like an honor for Salar people to have this job. Okay, it was not like a very low, you know, kind of job like from the society of those days. When Islam came on this land about 1,400 years ago, many of Zoroastrians, they ran away from Iran and they started to move to where? To India. Those are people that now we call them Parsi people. Okay, if you've been in India, you might hear or visit these people. Parsi people, they are originally Iranian Zoroastrian people. They live in India for a long time. And the time of Qajar, 140 years ago, one of these people, Manji, when we were walking that way, there's a stand, that like this, you will see his photo on that stand. So Manji came here, and because the situation of Zoroastrian was not good about paying tax and things like that, so he came and asked the king of those days, which was Batalisha, to make a better situation for Zoroastrian population in Iran, and like to reduce the tax and things like that. And they rebuilt and prepared these two cemetery, and make it ready again for Zoroastrian too. And Manji, he said he want to get, have like his sky burial, let's say here too, and they bury and they put like his body up to this hill that we call it Golistan. The name of this hill and this cemetery is Golistan. Gol in Farsi means flower. Golistan means a place full of flowers. And that's it. And so when this sign, for example, in the past was on the top of, like, for example, there was a king, okay, like bas-reliefs I'm talking, like carvings on the stones. There was this king sitting, or like his sentences, and then this sign was on the top. It means Ahura Mazda, by this sign, is supporting this king. Okay, so that was always in the history the sign of Ahura Mazda, the sign of God. What we call it Farvahak. It has eagle's wing, symbol of freedom, and it has ring of power in his hand. All right, let's we're gonna go up there.
Mary? Describing like all the process and everything. It's a very good book. The writer is like wise. Very good.
Bien.